Hey, I'm Handyman Dan with You Can Build This. In this video, we're going to be improving two different things for our upcoming camping trip. We're going to be upgrading our sled and we're going to make our own cooking griddle. I'm a huge supporter of improving future trips and projects based on past experiences and fails. If I'm doing a project and I wish that there was a tool I had to make my life easier, I'm going to try and get that tool for the next time. Likewise, if I'm on a trip and there's something that I wish I would have had to make it a little bit more convenient, I'm going to try and get that for my next trips. In the past, we've gone and we've used just my kids' sleds and we put some straps on them. They did not work very well. The first time it worked okay, but as soon as we started to get more gear, the second trip was a disaster. I probably spent more time trying to adjust the straps so that the parts and pieces didn't come off than I did hiking. I asked my friend if I could borrow his sled, and luckily he had two different sizes. It was such a great success using his sled that I ended up getting my own. This is the Beaver Tail sled, very durable, and it's the perfect size to still fit in my Sequoia without having to go on the top. I'm not so much concerned about taking it on trips with my truck, but it's more like, but if I want to take up more kids that we all don't fit in my truck, this is a great sled that I can take. Plus, it's a lot less bulky. We honestly just don't have that much stuff, so I don't need a huge sled to tote stuff around. But when I borrowed my friend's sled, I noticed that there were some things that I would like to upgrade. When you go down a hill, everything was sliding forward in the sled itself. The rope that came with this looks to be a 1/4-inch rope, and it's not very long. I really liked how he had his set up, so I'm going to mimic those. Here you can see the thickness difference of these two pieces of rope. The one I got is much larger. This rope was $1 a foot at the local hardware store, and I got 12 feet. I want to be able to wrap it around me, basically step into it. I can have my hands free, and it's just kind of sitting on my waist as I pull it behind me. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer. I'm also going to attach at least 2 of these straps, one going up around, maybe one going in the front, so that if I have heavier stuff on the back, I can cinch it down and it won't slide around. I also got a rivet gun for this. I'm spacing where I'm putting my clips based on where I put this basket. This is a typical basket that we take with us on our trips. It's nice because when you fold those up, the whole thing collapses, gets out of the way pretty easy, so it's easy for storage. If we had more things that we wanted to put in front of this, we would be able to still clip it. If we don't put anything else in front of it, I can cinch this down and have it hold this thing tight. So when I'm going down a hill or something, this thing doesn't move around. Because of the size of these rivets and the thickness of the strap and the thickness of the sled, once I push this through the sled, I'm putting a washer on the other end just to give it a little bit more meat. So it'll look like that with the sled in between it. I'm going to drill the holes in this, and then I can use this to size where I'm going to put the holes in my sled. All right, that strap is not going anywhere. Look how nice that looks. I'm going to put this rivet in there first so it gets a good fit, and then I'm going to use a lighter melt all the frays off of it. That seems to work a little bit better than how I was doing it. Now I can use this strap to tell where I'm going to put the holes on my sled. My washer broke off. I'm gonna have to redo that one. Now we got the 2 rivets in there and our strap. Yeah, that looks great. I can make that as tight or as loose as I need to. Now we're gonna put one over here and then one going up and over there. I'm picking a side where I'm gonna cinch everything down, which is gonna be this side. That's why I cut off such a small portion on this one. So I'm gonna do the same thing on here. I'm gonna leave maybe 2 inches on the bottom. I'm gonna cut it. And then to keep it from fraying over time, I'm gonna melt that end. I put in 3 straps all together. We got one for the top, one for the front, smaller one up here. This is typically where we put like our snowshoes, or a lot of times we'll put our shovels right here, or the saw. If I bring up some of my younger kids, I may have a big sleeping bag right here. This front strap is long enough that I could put it up here and strap it down and then pull this tight. And then I could put some bigger things, like if I had 2 sleeping bags back here, this strap will loosen up probably another foot. This is gonna be awesome. This one already has holes pre-drilled, so all I have to do is ream them out a little bit bigger to put my rope. I got a 5/8" drill bit, and that should be good. I might have to squeeze it in a little bit more. It's not a perfect hole, but that's okay. This is a camping sled. I really like what my friend did with his sled. He put a piece of PVC as the handle for his rope. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna shove it through and then I'm gonna push it through the hole right here. Give it a quick tug. I am so stoked with how good this turned out. I can either use it like this, because a lot of times when you're hiking, you just wanna pull it and it gets kind of heavy when you're pulling it with one arm. So it's good to have it wide enough to do two. Or I can step in it like this and put it against my torso. And when I put tension on it, it'll keep it riding up. I asked my friend why he did it like this with the knots facing out. It's really smart. If my ropes would have been the opposite way with the knots coming out on the bottom, when I pull it this way, it would push the front down. But by having it this way, when I pull it, I'm pulling it from up here, it's actually lifting up the sled a little bit. The second thing we're going to be improving is our cooking situation. On our last winter survival campout, we cooked on our shovel and it worked really well. It was fine in that moment, but in the long term, it's not going to be a good solution. After watching Luke from the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel make his very own griddle from scratch, I was shocked at how simple he made it look. So I thought, yeah, I need to give this thing a try. I have been wanting to do a project like this for a long time because this is my old skillet. I bought this when I was in high school and it has still lasted. The reason it's lasted is because I never use it. It's super awkward, super heavy. It does have a nice little folding handle here, but I bought this so I could take it backpacking with me. After one or two trips, it was just way too heavy. I'm honestly not sure why I kept it this long. This is going to be a completely new experience for me. I do not have very much experience at all in metalworking. In fact, I had to go buy this tool so that I could work the metal, and I borrowed my friend's anvil. I worked for 12 years in the woodworking business, still love to do woodworking as a hobby, but I've always wanted to get into metalworking. Thought this would be a great intro project for me to learn some new skills. And this sheet metal is super lightweight. This is 22 gauge steel. There's no coating or galvanization on it. I already cut my pieces. This is the one we're going to use for our griddle. I wanted to make this one big enough that if I failed on this one, I would have some scrap to work with. I tried to use these cutters and that didn't work very well. I used these instead and it worked okay. So now we're just going to finish shaping this a little bit. I do want to kind of round these edges a little, make it have a little bit of a better shape. So we're just going to cut off these corners and then start banging it into shape. We've got our outline now. I honestly don't know if this is the right hammer to use as far as the size. There were two sizes when I went to the hardware store. But in my experience, if you're trying to pound something out, it's better to go big. So I thought the small one just wouldn't work. This works pretty dang good. I just gotta keep shaping it some more. Pretty decent shape overall, and it feels very sturdy compared to what it was. I got this torch when I was finishing out my basement. I needed it to solder the copper pipes behind my shower. I just love how you can get tools from one project and they always help you out with another project. I'm just trying to make it flat so that I can pound a rivet through it. Ah, dang it. Ugh, messed that up. What a rookie mistake. If I do it like this, my handle's the wrong way. So I need to fix this. Now I'm gonna put it this way. Now hopefully that didn't weaken the metal too much. Okay, that's more like it. Now we just gotta bend this other side. And I kinda like the distance of this. That's a good distance. So I'm just gonna mark that and then form it again. And if you need to get more leverage on this because your grip just isn't strong enough, you can just use a wrench like this. Give yourself some more leverage. Missed the mark on that one. Just gonna cut it the same length as the bottom part. I think this is gonna be a little bit easier to form. Okay, this may be a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Is this how they make spoons and utensils? Just a mass of it and you just pound it out into shape? Oh yeah, perfect fit. Tricky part now is figuring out this thing. Let's see how that looks. There's my rivet. Now I just need to pound it, I guess. Well, I'll be. That is pretty sweet. Oh yeah, that's on there. So nice. One side is in. Now I'm just trying to finish up this other side. I'm using the pointed side of the hammer first to try and make it flat, because then it'll hold. And then once it holds, then I can start whacking on it with the flat side of the hammer. So now it's kind of mushroom shaped. Now I can do the other side. Now I'll get it flat. I'm seriously so stoked with how well this worked. I really needed a win this week. And it is so light. Now I just need to shape it a little bit better. Just going through with the hammer, and I'm just trying to pound in a ton of divots to get it to really keep its shape. For this purpose, I probably would have preferred the smaller hammer. This is getting kind of heavy now. Now I'm just going to coat it with some olive oil on all sides. I'm just going to let this season until it goes black and start smoking. Now that these two projects are done, make sure to check out our upcoming camping video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.